Even after time has passed, even after distance, even after you've told yourself that you've moved on, there's still a moment when their name crosses your mind. Sometimes it happens randomly, sometimes it happens when you're quiet, and sometimes it happens just when you start feeling okay again. You don't miss them the way you used to. You don't want them back the way you once did. Yet somehow, they still appear in your thoughts. And that's when the confusion begins. You ask yourself, why am I still thinking about them, if I've already let go? Here's the truth most people never hear. Thinking about someone after letting go does not mean you failed. It does not mean you're weak. And it does not mean you secretly want to return to the past. It means your mind is finishing a process that your heart started long ago. Letting go is not an instant emotional switch. It's a psychological transition. And when someone once mattered deeply, your brain created emotional pathways around them. Those pathways were built during moments of attachment, vulnerability, safety, and intensity. Even after the relationship ends, those pathways don't disappear immediately. They slowly lose emotional charge. And during that process, memories still surface. Not because you want them to, but because your mind is reorganizing itself. The first reason you still think about them is emotional memory. Emotional memories are stored differently than ordinary memories. Your brain doesn't store them as facts. It stores them as sensations, feelings, body responses. That's why a smell, a song, or a quiet moment can suddenly bring someone back into your awareness. Not because you miss the person, but because your nervous system remembers how it once. The second reason is identity adjustment. When someone was part of your life for a long time, your mind quietly included them in your sense of self. Your routines, your expectations, your future imagination, all adjusted around their presence. When they leave, your mind has to rewire that internal identity. And during that rewiring phase, thoughts of them surface naturally, not as longing, but as recalibration. Your mind is learning who you are without them. This is why people often say, I don't want them back, but I still think about them. That statement is psychologically normal. Wanting someone and remembering someone are not the same thing. Wanting comes from desire. Remembering comes from integration. One pulls you backward, the other helps you move. The third reason is unfinished emotional processing. Letting go externally does not always mean emotional completion internally. Sometimes you didn't get answers. Sometimes you didn't get closure. Sometimes you had to accept silence instead of understanding. And when the mind doesn't receive closure, it creates meaning instead. That meaning building phase often brings recurring thoughts, not to reopen the wound, but to close it properly. Here's something important to understand. Your mind does not bring people back into your thoughts to hurt you. It brings them back to release stored emotion. Each time you think about them, without reacting emotionally, you weaken the emotional charge attached to that memory. And over time, the thought loses its grip. That's healing in action. Another reason thoughts return is contrast. When you grow emotionally, your mind revisits past connections to compare who you were then with who you are now. You're not reliving the past, you're measuring growth. That's why the thoughts often feel neutral instead of painful. You observe rather than ache. That neutrality is a sign of progress, not regression. But here's where many people make a mistake. They judge themselves for thinking. They try to force their mind to stop, and resistance strengthens attachment. The more you fight a thought, the more energy you give it. Healing doesn't require suppression. It requires permission. Permission to remember without engaging, to acknowledge without attaching meaning. Thinking about someone does not mean they belong in your future. It simply means they were real in your past. And real experiences leave traces. Healthy minds don't erase memories, they reorganize. Eventually, something shifts. You still remember them, but the emotional pull is gone. The thought passes like a cloud instead of a storm. And one day, you realize you can think of them without feeling heavy, without feeling confused, without feeling pulled backward. That's when you know the process is complete. Letting go is not about forgetting. It's about remembering without pain. It's about allowing the mind to close emotional loops at its own pace. And if you're still thinking about them, from time to time, it doesn't mean you're stuck. It means you're healing correctly. So the next time their face appears in your mind, don't question it. Don't analyze it. Don't attach meaning to it. Just observe it. Let it pass. And trust that your mind knows exactly what it's doing. Because healing doesn't announce itself loudly. It happens quietly, in moments just like this.